Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Musically Mindful, the show where I sit down with some of your favorite musicians, artists, and even some of your friends to discuss mental health within the music space. My name is Mike Renzetti, and this week, like some others, I'm not sitting with a guest, I'm sitting with myself. And the main reason for that is because today, as I record this, I it's my anniversary of 3 years of being clean and sober. I did an episode of the podcast when I hit 2 years, and I really told the story about a lot of my past. You know, how I got into drugs, what substances I abused, how I got there, some great highlights, some low peaks and valleys. But excuse me, I decided that I wanted to do another episode and this time record it on the day, which is why it's coming out late. But I thought that it would be good because I want to do it for me. And also, instead of just talking about what I've done or what my history with drug abuse has been, I figured I'd kind of talk about some of the things that I experienced over the last year between years 2 and 3. Um, I think that the story was told well. Obviously, there's things I'll keep to myself and things I don't want to talk about all the time or things I'm not necessarily proud of. But this has truthfully been one of the greatest personal endeavors of my life, being sobriety. I flew a little too close to the sun at points in my life, and you know I made it out unscathed, relatively at least. Don't get me wrong, I have traumas and problems, and I'm not healed completely. I'm not perfect, and I never will be. But I talked about the tattoo that I got when I hit 1 year of sobriety, which just says "not today." And that mentality has really been a beautiful thing for me to hold on to through sobriety, because it not only takes the pressure off of tomorrow or 6 months from now or a year from now and lets me exist within the present moment and lets me be present within myself and within sobriety, but it also leaves the door open to allow me to let life flow as it will. And what I mean by that is the substances that I've abused through my life do not serve me today. But I don't know if they'll serve me down the line. And I can't think about that either. Basically, the not today mentality that I approach sobriety with essentially means that I'm only focused on today. They say one day at a time, one show at a time. I'm not even worried about that. I'm literally just worried about how I feel today. And for 3 years straight, without missing one, without slipping, I have said not today. And I don't feel any desire to go back the other way. And that's one of the biggest realities, I think, within sobriety for people, is that if you don't want it, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter. A million people can thrust it upon you, can tell you you have a problem, can send you to rehab, can do all of these different things. But if you do not want to get sober, if you do not want to be clean and make that decision, it's not going to happen. And this would never be a place for me to say that you need to or tell anybody what they have to do. This isn't what I had to do. This is what I wanted to do. And for 3 years is every day has been what I want to do. The best part about it is truthfully that I feel I get stronger with it every day. I am more, the universe continuously gives me signs that it was the right decision because as many things in our lives go, you can kind of look back and point out pivotal moments on along your path of growth and, enlightenment and healing and getting better and surviving, really, whether you're surviving to thriving, anywhere within the spectrum that you are, you can pull the pivotal moments where changes happen or where significant things happen that kind of make you who you are. And I truthfully believe that I would not be the person that I am today if I did not make the decision to get sober. And and I talked about it in the 2 year episode. Sobriety found me in the most beautiful way at the right time. It wasn't forced upon me. Truthfully, the universe gave it to me. I don't want to rehash, but that experience that I had at Red Rocks, that I completely was an out of body experience, that I was able to understand my place in the world and within myself, and truthfully feel everything and understand everything. It set me on the trajectory of where I'm at in my life now. After I got sober, I found a deeper passion for health and wellness. It led me to finding this passion and desire to work and only from, not work like professionally, but in a personal passion project in mental health, and be within this space and within this realm and try to help myself get better and help other people get better. My job got better, my relationships got better. I had the first healthy, wonderful relationship that I had ever had in my entire life with somebody who is very special and will always be. But I also have found deeper friendships. I found new friendships. I was able to let go of other ones. My family, I've come to appreciate more, my relationship with my mom. As of late, recently, my relationship with my sister, I'm working to cultivate those things. I found forgiveness of myself. I was able to reach out to people and forgive people for things that I had, or things that had been done to me, or apologize for things that I had done to other people. And you know, I just I moved to Colorado. Everything in my life, I say it all stemmed from the initial my health overhaul that I had, which I talked about in the last episode. But I truthfully believe that choosing sobriety was one of the most pivotal decisions I've made in my life. So to have that wherewithal and understand, to be able to interact with the people in my life, to be able to interact with the hobbies and the things in my life. For example, as a music centric podcast, to be able to go to shows and not need a drink in my hand, to be able to go to shows and not worry about where I'm going to get a bag of something, or worry about what's in my wallet, or, I was never the guy that ever needed to be taken care of. I was always the guy taking care of other people. But nevertheless, the experience, I can still go and have it without it. Don't get me wrong, I've also talked very, deeply recently about my relationship with music having changed, and, getting a little bit onto the inside of the thing and seeing, how the sausage is made, and all of that, and having friends in the industry and whatnot. It reshaped some of my understanding and my relationship with music. But as of late, I'm really just starting to appreciate the music again. And it's funny. I've been at the first music festival I went to. I was 17. Was Camp Bisco back in 2011. Here we are 15 years later. I'm 30 years old, or about to be 31 years old. It's been half my life that I've been seeing and even before that, I've been seeing, my first concert ever was Linkin Park in 2006 on the Project Revolution tour. I saw Broadway shows because of my sister. I went and saw my friends' bands play in basements, and um, I went in a lot of rap music. Before I got into the jam scene, I saw, the Misfits and a lot of metal bands, and I saw Wu-Tang and a lot, and I saw Eminem at Yankee Stadium. I saw so much music my whole life. It's been such a major part of my life, but particularly within the construct of the jam scene, and the thing that anybody who's watching or listening to this um is probably at least somewhat connected to. It's been half my life, and I'm finding new appreciation for music every day by listening to different types of music, by really the experience. I talked about with Mike Goodman the experience of vinyl. And it's been such a beautiful thing for me to find new music. Also, you have to sit. It's an experience. You have to earn it. You have to open the jacket. You have to open the sleeve, put the record on, clean it, make sure that your needle or make sure your stylus is good to go. It's a process, and it's a thing, and it's enjoyable because you can't just skip it, and you sit and you experience the music as it was intended. Listening to an album from start to finish, albums are pieces of art, and sitting and giving them the time to experience them is wonderful. But 15 plus years, my whole life into music, 3 years into sobriety, music arguably means more to me now than it ever did, in a completely different way, because music is now, it's a reminder of my entire life. It's not just going to the party. It's not just going to hear the new thing. It's Music has been a foundation for me throughout my entire life. One of the things I connect when I think about my childhood, music was everything. It was I was in band in school. My sister sang and did Broadway. My mom played piano. My dad sang and played guitar when he was younger. And some of the only things that I have to remember my dad by are my love of Elvis, my love excuse me, my love of Frank Sinatra, my mom, Donna Summer and Barbara Streisand, and my sister and I, throughout our tumultuous relationship, one of the only things we've ever bonded over was music. My sister was a Fish fan. She's older than I am. My sister was the reason that I heard about what Fish was. Wasn't the person that got me into it, or wasn't the person that we didn't share that until I was a little bit older. But, you know, the reason that I enjoy lyrics and I enjoy vocals is because I had a sister that was an unfucking believable singer my whole life, in the house singing, putting on shows. She had her own production company at one point where she like put on musicals and stuff like that. My dad would show me, give Zeppelin CDs and Queen and Elvis and Sinatra, and we'd be driving in the car and he's showing me this. And my mom, every Christmas, my mom needs music on, and just when she's in the kitchen doing her thing, it's music has always been a thing. And for me, competing in competitions in school and jazz band and playing first chair baritone saxophone, and music has always been there. But music also has had different connections for me throughout my life. Music has been a healing thing. It has been a cathartic thing. It has been a damaging thing. It has been an eye-opening thing, a heart-opening thing, something to do, something to indulge in, a place to go. It's been Music made me travel the country. Music made me meet people. It made me experience all so many things in my life, one of which being drugs. I got into drugs on my own, and it wasn't music that only gave me drugs, but fucking sex, drugs, and rock and roll, baby. Like that's what it's about, or what it, that's what the message was. Um, and I sit here now and I can look through music not only as a time capsule to different parts of my life, but different iterations of myself. And the music that I've experienced since before getting sober, while I was getting sober, and since now that I'm this far into my journey, it has been a beautiful amalgamation of different tastes and styles and moments. And I talk about my that I have relationships with people in the industry and stuff like that. I have gotten to see friends of mine from one side of the guardrail move to the other. I have seen friends go from small rooms to big rooms. I to shout out two very good friends of mine, Nick Codina, tour manager for Dogs in a Pile, AJ Musachio, Pretty Fly for a Light Guy, their LD. I have known those two guys for like a decade. I don't even know how long, like a long time. AJ and I have known each other through the pigeon scene. Nick and I have known each other through the biscuit scene and other things. Before Nick ever picked up a camera and became a photographer and started working for Dogs and now is their tour manager. Before AJ ever became interested in doing lighting, but then got inspired by guys like Manny Newman, and tried his hand. And now these two guys that have been a part of my life since before I was sober are now a pivotal role in something that I still choose to experience, working with other friends of mine. And that is a pathway of musical connection through before, during, and after sobriety. I got to see, when I started seeing pigeons, I was not sober and they were in smaller rooms. And then I watched them graduate to playing in an arena for 45 or 5, almost 5,000 people, still not sober. And then I got sober, and now they are on their own journeys and they're family men and they have kids. And the evolution of music has coincided with the evolution of me. And it's a beautifully mutually exclusive relationship that I've always had within my life. And I've enjoyed reflecting, when I decided that I was going to do another episode about sobriety, I was like, what the fuck am I going to talk about? I told the story. I'm sober. Great. I don't need to brag that I'm sober, but sharing my perspective on the things within sobriety and the unique perspective that I have around it, and what sobriety gives me within the different aspects of my life, I think is a beautiful thing to talk about. And equally be open and honest about like temptation. Between year one, there was a lot of temptation because it's all of my friends, not all, but a lot of my friends use and are party, some of them responsibly, some of them not. And that's the reality of being human. And it's the reality of using drugs, whether you're an addict or not, it's there. And year one was so much temptation. You go to fish and like you don't have a luckily, like Liquid Death and companies like I can go to a show and I can have a can of water and like I feel better about it, which is awesome. But that year you're on the beach in Atlantic City with fucking 50 of your friends, 20, 30, 40 of your friends, and you're at fish and everybody's passing joints and spoons and drinks and whatever, and you're just kind of standing there and you're in it and you feel a little bit lost in the sea. Um, but you make it through, and then you have other experiences where you're trying to hang out with a girl and she's trying to party and you're like, like I don't wanna, but like I would make it easier. And then it has made other things challenging. A real thing that I think is super unique to understand. And with dating or being in a relationship or trying to meet somebody, I can't ask somebody to go out for drinks. I can't, I don't drink coffee So I can't ask somebody to go get coffee. I can, but then I fucking sit there and it's weird and awkward. I can get a cup of tea or water or whatever, but so it it pins you a little bit to that. Also, there were times over the past 3 years where you're at a venue and you're dancing and a girl gives you a look and you kind of see what's going on, and she is not in her right frame of mind, and then I'm like, okay, well, I can't, it doesn't feel right to try to meet this person or get to know this person when they're in this headspace. And even beyond that, there's a lot of fucking people in this scene that are creeps and prey on innocent people, whether guy, girl, romantically or not, that just do not do right by people. And it has always been I've always felt very uncomfortable in those situations post sobriety of like, cool, I'm sober, you're not. I can't do anything. I can't make a move. I don't want you to have an impaired judgment or you make a mistake or me seem like I'm trying to do something because like it's a very slippery slope, and maybe that's all perspective, maybe that's all in my head and what have you, but it feels that way. And when I've had friends ask me like, how do you date? How do you meet people? How do you And the reality of it is that I will never expect anybody to do what I do or not do what I don't do. You're a human is in your own way. You do whatever the fuck you want. If they align, great, but it's a caveat. It's a thing to be weary of. And there's been a lot of other experiences throughout that have challenged me. In keeping in the vein of dating and whatever, when you go through a breakup, like you don't have that crutch anymore. When you lose a friend, when you lose a job, when you don't when the thing you want to happen doesn't happen, you have to face it on your own. And that's challenging. And I think the funny thing is that it would be so easy for me to relapse. Like I wouldn't even have to try because it's everywhere all the time around, like it's everywhere. And that's been its own thing to navigate. Just being okay, being prevalent in it, passing a drink for somebody, passing a joint to the next person, all those things. I can do that now and I feel fine to do so. But it's not easy out of the gate, being around, because you want to indulge, you still enjoy or you think you enjoy it and whatever. And that's, realizing that I don't enjoy it anymore has been the thing that has freed the shackles from that. And also the fact that it's not a challenge to get it. Like I don't I think part of the reason that I got so heavy into drugs was because it was like us, I'm 30 years old. Getting weed was not like the easiest thing in the world when we were kids. I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in Jersey. You had the dudes that fucking, okay, yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Never answer you. You buy a dime bag or this or that, or like, okay, cool. We have enough money for an eighth, and they fucking beat you, and you don't have a scale and the things, and like you want to get alcohol that you don't have an older sibling or somebody, like you want to go. There's only one store to go get cigarettes, so you have to go there, and it's just like it was it was challenging, it was hard, and it was like cool to do it. It was like an achievement. It was like, yo, like we got weed, we got LSD, we went on Silk Road and got shit off the off the dark web, and we made these edibles, and all of that kind of stuff. And like in a weird way, in adolescent, or not, maybe not adolescence, but in young, teen to early 20, going and like buying a bong and like saving up and spending like 400, now I have friends that have like $8,000-$10,000 fucking rigs and they're crazy. But like I remember going back to the head shop back in the day, and like I've dropped like $400 on an HBG big fucking bong, four shower head tree perk, and like a fritted disc perk in the bottom. I named it Hector Beauregard Garcia. It was my favorite fucking bong. And like I felt so proud to like go and buy that bong and get the Vatra bag, and like I brought it around. Like it was such like just like with the experience of vinyl, like it was a thing. Like you have to get your bong and you got to clean it and you got to get, filters for your bowl, and like, or unless, and then they grab, you could get spend more money and get the bowl that had a built-in kind of, screen filter, like Toro bowls and stuff like that. Um, I'm reminiscing a little bit as we go here, but it wasn't just like cool, go down to the store and buy something and come home and get high. It was like, no, I wanted to go get high because like it was not the reason I wanted to get high, but it was like it was a thing. It was an obstacle to overcome. And when you're a kid, like you only have so many true obstacles that you can like overcome. Um, but and I don't say that to limit anybody, or say that people don't go through shit at a young age. I believe me, I did myself. If you've listened to any of these, you know. But truthfully, like I got it, like I talked about. I started smoking cigarettes because my mom did, and like I thought it was nice to like relax. I started experimenting with drugs because like I didn't like myself. I didn't experiment with drugs to like be cool. I'd do acid and sit in my room and stare at the wall and draw or write. And I got high to get regular. I got high because I loved getting high. That's, I think, with different addicts, they have different reasons. There's different things that lead you to drugs. Some people get into it because they're in a bad place. Some people get into it because it's the cool thing to do and they get hooked. Some people do it because they don't have anything better to do. Like I love getting high. I love doing drugs. I love the act of rolling a joint. I love the act of heating up a nail and taking dabs. I love, laying a sheet or cutting up doses, or like I love the sensation. I love the tactile physical act of getting high, but I also just fucking love being high. It's awesome. And that's not me trying to necessarily advocate or tell people to go do drugs. You're a fucking adult if you're watching this. If you haven't yet and you want to try it, go for it. I can't imagine that there's anybody watching this that hasn't done drugs before. Nevertheless, I think that some people lose their way because it becomes part of their identity. And it did for me, certainly. But at the end of the day, I never cared about like from the drug aspect of my life, I never cared about perspective. I wasn't like, I enjoyed being that guy in my friend group, like the guy who always had doses. I enjoyed, it definitely did give me a sense of purpose when I didn't have one. It gave me the idea of like, oh, like I can fulfill a need. And that, it comes from trauma of not being enough, which, by the way, you are enough. If you're not watching this and you're listening, I have a hoodie on that says you are enough, because you are, sober or not, either way. But I truthfully, while I enjoyed that, like I just wanted to get high for me because I wanted to get high. Like when I started getting into opiates and I started, when I sniffed dope and stuff, like I didn't sniff dope to be cool. I sniffed dope to like hide in a back room and nod out and forget about my life and try not to be me. Um, and there's like some real realities when you go down that road, like I don't know if I told the story on the last episode, or that I talked about it, or that if I have it all, but the reality of being like 16 years old and buying pills to sell pills overcharged to like to the I like to go and buy a bunch of blues to sell to kids in school to make enough money profit on them to be able to go and afford my own stockpile of oxys to just go and get high. Like I would go to a party and I would sell pills to some kids and I would split them with them. So I'd be doing half of the pills they paid for and then take that money. That was all profit. Go buy oxys for myself. And then I could nod out and forget about my life and that I could exist. Like and do that in a dark room like every day, crushing pills in my textbooks and class. Like I didn't get high because I wanted to be the cool kid that got high. I got high because didn't like myself and I wanted to be high because I like being high. I can't necessarily say that I still do because I don't really know. I still, when I think about the taste of a Marlboro Red, it's still delicious. When I think about the feeling that you get from LSD, where like it kind of creeps up from the lower to your back, and once it's in your back, you can feel it, and you actually, I don't care about the visual, whatever fucking the physical sensation, when you take a pressy and you feel it hit, and you kind of get that like warm feel. I'm talking about it now in a romantic way. I definitely still love getting high, for sure. But there are parts of it that don't, like I don't think that I don't think that weed would serve me well anymore because I have no tolerance anymore. And now weed is fucking insane and dabs it's crazy. Um, but even little things like I've never drank like a White Claw or a seltzer because before I stopped drinking, they weren't super popular and I drank whiskey. I never, when I got a vape to try to quit smoking cigarettes, it was like the battery and the tank and the fucking juice and it leaked in my pocket and I got pissed and I fucking smashed it in the street and I gave up on that. But like what are they called? Like the fucking geek bar things that everybody has in their pocket and Juuls and whatever the fuck other brand, all the vapes that exist, like that wasn't a thing back when I smoked cigarettes. That wasn't a thing, 3 years ago they were, but like they weren't like the end all be all. And like I was like, if I'm gonna smoke, I want to fucking smoke a cigarette. I don't want to smoke a fruity vape. I want to smoke a cigarette. But I digress from that, more so just saying like the times change and you change with them. So I don't know if things would serve me anymore. And that kind of brings it back to the not today thing. Like not today, I'm just not today. I don't want to find out. I don't want to know. And I don't think that I'm in the place that I should either because my life is wonderful without it. And I said it a million times. Sobriety has given me so much more than it took away. But I have to be forthcoming that there are the experiences that you have where you know that it would be great. Going going to the Sphere last year for Fish and for Dead and Company. Of course it would be amazing to experience that on psychedelics. So the temptation is there, and then you kind of have a comment like, well, I could, but then well, do I need it? And you have the internal monologue, and you decide not to, and you are better for it when you're in this position. So I don't regret it, but again, it's just like that little earworm. It's like, this would be fucking sweet if I was tripping sack right now. Like this would be awesome, but it's still awesome without it. That's the duality, and the realization is like it can be awesome with it and it can be awesome without it. So it's what kind of experience do you want to have? Right now I'm enjoying my experience. I'm enjoying my human experience. I'm enjoying my sober experience. That said, I think, it's important to understand that sobriety genuinely is a choice, and it's not one that you have to make. There are also people, fortunately, that can do a little bit, that can have a drink, that can take a bump, that can take a few hits off a joint, and they're good. Not all of us are like that. And I think another thing that I really have come to understand through this past year is that I have an incredibly addictive personality in just as me. So like when you take the substances out, like okay, now what do I get addicted to? I'm addicted to working out. I'm addicted to fitness. I'm addicted to trying new things. I'm addicted to learning, to reading, to much healthier habits. But I think something I've really been trying to work on is just culling my addictive tendencies as a whole. because I feel like as you get it, when you have an addictive personality, you become attached to things very quickly. And that has been a very eye-opening thing, whether it's been in romantic constructs with girls. I get attached. When it comes to my creative endeavors, I get attached. My routine, my work, all the things, my regimen, I get attached because I'm addicted to it, truthfully. And in a way, I'm not disparaging myself for that either. Being addicted to a healthy lifestyle and being addicted to a regimen and a routine is wonderful. And being able to then like, okay, like I missed a day. Like the other day, I had my morning was busy and I missed a day of prayer. Okay, my intentions are still there. My communication with the universe is always open, and my feelings are the same. So like, it's okay. If you have a reason that like I'm not going to go to the gym today, I'm just going to push it one more day and go tomorrow. That used to kill me. Like I'm the kind of gym goer that like you have to convince me to I have to convince myself to take a rest day. But yesterday I was able to, I was with somebody and I decided I didn't want to dedicate those 2 hours to going to the gym because I wanted to do other things. And I said, it's okay. I'm gonna just go tomorrow, which I would have anyway. But like this workout, just roll one day. And I made that choice and it was okay. So culling somewhat of my addictive tendencies has been something I've been working on over the past year. The attachment thing I have not figured out entirely yet, and there are people on that may or may not watch or listen to this that will understand that I haven't. But yeah, this past year really has just made me dig into things and do all of that kind of stuff. I also this year incurred a depression state. I talked about my isolation and what have you, and that I had some thoughts during that. I spent almost 4 months, two of which my phone was just not turned on. I didn't go in, I didn't see anybody, I didn't go see music, I didn't fucking do all I did was stay here, read, go to the gym. It's basically all that I did. But some of those moments, you're like, well, I could like totally just get high right now. Maybe that'll help. Maybe, you know what? Like maybe a psychedelic experience would snap me out of this. Or maybe, if I smoke some weed, I could just like relax and veg out. And I didn't do any of that, and I'm glad that I didn't because I don't think it would have served. But, there's the reality of temptation from yourself, the reality of external temptation. There's just temptation. When you get sober and you take something out of your life and you restrict yourself from it, you have to, you have to own up to that if you want to, and that's the decision that you made. I don't think that it's good to like, oh, I'm sober, but then like you go do other things. Or, I respect people's level of sobriety. Like if they're like, I just can't drink, but I can do this. More power to you. I'm very just all or nothing as a person in my life. So like when I chose to cut out dairy from my life, it's gone. When I chose to all the diets I've done, when I decided to get into the gym, when I decided to do like when I do something, I do it as hard as I possibly can to the best of my ability with nothing but intention to do that. And even that is kind of, I've realized how strictly I live within absolutes, which is not something that I like about myself and something that I'm actively working on. And that's kind of why the not today thing is prevalent for me now because I'm sober forever. This is it. Nothing is ever going to happen. Da 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 da. No, right now I'm sober and it's because I want to be and because I can be and I choose to be. But I've really, over the past year, I feel like I've had some of the biggest growth that I've had. And I felt that way every year. But I feel like this year of sobriety gave me where I said, it gives me more than it takes away. I feel like this year of sobriety let me let things go. Not all. I certainly didn't let some things go, and I haven't been perfect at it, but a lot of trauma and a lot of like my past, but acceptance of it. I think did very well this past year of acceptance of my past and acceptance of the decisions that I made, but not necessarily the acceptance of my present, which is right now what I'm really, really working on. And I view sobriety as a gift, truthfully. I'm glad that it found me when it did. I'm glad that I made that decision. I'm glad that I tried it. And there's nothing that I could advocate more for in this context. I'm not telling you to get sober. I'm not telling you you have to be sober. I'm not telling you that it will fix you or fix your problems. But what I am telling you is that it is certainly something worth trying because you never know what results might yield from it. You might be able to get out of your own way. You might be able to lean into aversions. You might be able to learn new skills, meet new people, get people out of your life that shouldn't be there. You might be able to meet yourself again, become a new version of yourself. It is certainly valuable to try and worthwhile. And, you know, I do have one thing planned that I want to do, and this will be more for people that are watching as opposed to listening, but I will try to mitigate between the two. So for my 2 year sobriety, I got my first token, and I didn't really do like I did not go to rehab this time to get sober. I didn't go. I've been to meetings and stuff like that, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I never felt right having like a token from an NA or because I didn't go through the program and it just feels wrong. But I was given a gift. My mom actually for my 2 year sober, she got me a token, and that token really became a very gravitational thing for me. I always had it with me. It was always in my pocket. Every time I would go to a show, you could just kind of rub it. It reminds you. It sets things at ease. And I connected to it very deeply, and that coin became something very, very important to me. And the reason that I bring that up is because I I recently lost it. And it's funny, I lost it because right here, which you can't see if you're listening, but I have a small little envelope here that has a 3 year sobriety token because I wanted to have that for myself. So I bought myself a new token. And when it came, I lost the 2 year token. I've looked through jeans, I've looked through jackets, backpacks. Like it's either in my apartment somewhere or it's gone. And either way, I love that I can't find it, and I'll explain to you why. Number one, it's a reminder not to be attached to the material things because the feeling of sobriety, the intention of sobriety isn't because of a fucking coin. I put my intention into that coin. It is a reminder of my activity, my decision, my willpower. So it leaving or losing it is like, hey, you still did the thing. You still were sober. You still made it to year three. Just because you don't have the fucking coin doesn't mean that you stop or you go backwards. The other side of it being a reminder to let go of the past, be aware of it and be cognizant of it and allow it to have meaning in your present. But truthfully, hey, year two is done. That coin is gone. Let it be in the past and move on to what you have now, to year three, or moving into year four. So either way that you look at it, it's kind of a beautiful thing. I had this connection point that really I held on to for all of this third year that really, it was in my pocket. It was always something to hold on to. It was a reminder. It made me feel good. I could rub the coin when I was anxious or at a show. It was just something to have. And now we're moving into a new year, and it's a new set of challenges and new experiences and a new token. So I did originally have planned to, kind of do like a changing of the coin. But what I decided to do was wait until the day today to open this coin up. Um, so listeners, bear with me. People that are watching, you'll see what it looks like. But I have here a new 3-year token. I'll hold it up to the camera as best I can. Definitely not going to be able to read what's on the back, but I will explain. So the front side is a number 3, Roman numeral 3 with wings, overlooking a beautiful kind of nature scene. And the back says serenity, freedom, and the reason that I bought this token is because it says just for today. So it's not exactly the same words as my tattoo, but it's the same meaning. And it says, today I choose recovery. I choose strength over weakness, hope over despair, and love over fear, growing stronger and more resilient each day. This token is now the thing that I can keep with me moving into the preceding year. And sincerely, I love the idea of having something, as much as I just talked about, letting go of the material. It is worthwhile to have something tangible that you can connect to and you can remember and you can look at as a reminder of where you are and the decisions that you've made. It's in a plastic case that I can't get open right now because I don't really have nails, but I'll get it open later. But it's really cool. And I thought that it would be cool to kind of show and open with you guys. So now it's just going to be with me every day, everywhere I go. And it's a reminder. I think part of the reason that I really like the tokens is because for the first time in a couple of years, I did go to some meetings over year 3, and I both was quiet in some, shared in others. I'm not particularly an advocate of the 12 step. I'm not a religious person. I'm not, it's not God. I don't subscribe to that. Not that I disparage it or put it down, because if it works for you, it works for you. But there is something very cool about just going somewhere to try and better yourself. And I've always looked at sobriety as a personal endeavor, as a personal journey, because it's my sobriety. Nobody else has, you know, command over it. Nobody else has reign over it. However, I think I've found something really beautiful in those meetings of like, you can just go and be around like-minded people, which is kind of something we look for at a concert too. You just want to be around people that are into the same thing or looking for the same thing, or, you can experience the thing together. So some of those meetings were just windows into the reality, being windows into like where I've been in my sobriety, at earlier points or later stages or what have you, and the ability to reflect on who I am right now with people that are trying to achieve the same thing. I tend to take things on myself, and I very often make things just my own and try to be a bit not necessarily possessive, but like this is mine. Nobody else needs to help me. I don't let people help me and this, that, the other. But those meetings helped me. And there were people in those meetings that I met that were really nice, that heard my story and had nice things to say, that I was able to hear their story and translate or relate it to my own. And you know, I have friends that have gotten sober. That's another thing too, is like I have friends that have gone to meetings this year. I have a bunch of friends that actually got sober in along year three, which is beautiful. There's a wonderful, wonderful change happening in the world where people are really starting to like understand that like sobriety is it's a good thing, and it can be. And also, you know, as you get older, like sometimes it's where you need to be. But in all sincerity, you know, sobriety is a very, very cool thing. And it's what you make it too. There's people that are like, yeah, I'm sober. And then there are people that are like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm sober and I'm happy. Like, I love the fact that I'm sober. I feel good about it. It makes me proud of myself. And I'm not good with pride, but it fills me with, it's an achievement. Like, I did that today. I've talked about in routines in the past, you know, wake up and make your bed first thing because you start the day having achieved something. Work out early in the morning if it'll help you achieve something. I do my morning routine. I wake up, I walk Broly, I come back, I stretch, do my yoga, do a light body weight workout, then I meditate, or I do breath work, then I meditate, then I do my gratitude practice, then I pray, then I start my day. I start my day having achieved something. And in a fun way, every night that I'm sober, I end my day having achieved something. When I put my head down to the pillow, I've achieved something that day, even if I did nothing else. And it's allowing sobriety to give you things, allowing sobriety to paint the picture of your reality, allowing sobriety to be the thing that can influence the other areas of your life. Truthfully, like it has awarded me so many things. I would not be the person that I am today if I did not get sober. But I also won't be the person that I will be tomorrow until I get there. And that's sober or not. If something catastrophic in this world happened to, well, there's fucking catastrophic shit happening every day. But if I, you know, if for some reason I decided to get high tonight, there would be good reason for it. And it would be because it's the thing that would serve me. And that's okay. And having that freedom and control and reality, I think, has kept me sober. I don't want to paint any picture or scenario as if I'm better than anybody because I'm sober, and I'm not. And I'm actually probably worse than a bunch of people, sober or not. But um, I truthfully believe that for me, sobriety has been one of the most fruitful endeavors of my life. It's been one of the greatest things I've ever done. And year three presented me with a lot of challenges and presented me with a lot of lessons that weren't even necessarily predicated on sobriety, but that's kind of what I'm talking about, is that sobriety has trickled into so many other areas of my life. It's truthfully just given me more. It's made me understand things. It's made me understand myself. It's made me love life more. And I couldn't be more grateful for it. I really, it's just a fucking wonderful thing. Like I don't have enough good things to say about it. I really don't. It is one of the coolest things. Is you know, I said in the last episode talking about physical health that it feels good to feel good. It feels good to be sober. It feels good to feel good. Um, it feels good to know that I'm enough without it. that I'm more without it, I think. And truthfully, it's just been a wonderfully a wonderful series of lessons over and over. Every year has been different. Every year has presented new challenges. And the cool thing is like or the unique thing is that every year of sobriety presents its own challenges, but that's also because every year of life presents its own challenges. You know, year one of sobriety, I was still on the East Coast. Year two, I moved out to Colorado. Year two, or year one, I was single. I was trying to figure out my life. Year two, I was in a beautiful committed relationship. Year three, I was in a different committed relationship that genuinely, they can remain nameless, but they were an incredibly pivotal part of my life and one of the most important people I've ever met. And during year three, I shared some wonderful things with them that would never have happened if I didn't get sober. And here we are now going into year four. I have somebody new in my life. That's wonderful. And this relationship is now different. And I'm excited to see what year four will present with sobriety, with a new relationship, with my friends, with traveling, with creative endeavors, with projects. It's all, I don't know. All I can focus on is today. And today, I feel good. I feel happy. I feel content. I feel pride. I feel, yeah, I, 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 I don't even really know necessarily what I feel in totality. I woke up this morning and I kind of laughed. And when I got out of bed and I went and I got some sun on my face, I just realized, like, oh, this is it. I did it. It's kind of like that thing of like when you get older and you're like, someone's like, oh, I turned 29. Like, how does it feel? It's pretty much the same as 28. Like, I, um, I don't necessarily feel any different. I think I just have more appreciation. And thank that shout out to Kunj Shah for helping me learn this gratitude practice because I think that it's truthfully I'm strengthening that muscle and it's making me more grateful for everything in my life, including sobriety. But as far as year three is concerned, like I said, I incurred numerous challenges. I incurred numerous lessons. I let things go. I found out things about myself. I got in and out of relationships and friendships. I think that the first half of it was kind of whimsical, and the second half of it was brutal. And I love that duality. I love the fact that I didn't just coast. I didn't just figure it out, or rather, I didn't just like panic and break down. I just rode the wave and I figured it out. And I'm here and I'm standing and I'm sitting, but I am on my own 2 feet. I don't, whatever. I'm in a chair. Fuck off. But I am in a wonderful place, um, within myself. And there's peaks and valleys in life. There's peaks and valleys in sobriety. There's there's going to be ups and downs in everything that you do. And I truthfully do believe, for me personally, that sobriety has made a lot of those ups even better and a lot of those downs a little bit easier. So I'm proud to have 3 years of sobriety under my belt, but the work doesn't stop. Neither does the work with mental health. Sobriety is going to make me learn more. It is going to make me, when you're just out here raw dogging life without a condom, you have to be careful, you have to be weary, you have to understand where you are, you have to know yourself, you have to believe in yourself, but you also have to face things just purely as you. And I think that's been one of the most fruitful endeavors of all 3 years of sobriety is like I am facing life as me. I've been told by people in my life that I am unapologetically me. And I don't think that that's always been the case. I think I've kind of been a bit of a chameleon throughout the different stages of my life to try to fit in, to try to have friends, to try to serve a purpose, all the while embarking on a path of substance abuse in order to do just enough to avoid being myself. And sobriety has made me want to be me. It has made me proud to be me. It's made me confused to be me. Um, which is beautiful. I mean, to be 30 years old and confused, but like learning and finding new things out about yourself and being like, oh, well, that makes sense. Or, oh, I don't like that. And the ability to act on that. Like, oh, that's not good for me. No, thank you. Sobriety gave me that option because like drugs aren't good for me. No, thank you. This person's not good for me. No, thank you. This activity, this music, this thing, if it's not good for me, I don't want it. I want to live my life that if the energy's not absolutely the fuck yeah, it's no. Respectfully, lovingly, and the thing, go your separate ways. But truthfully, I'm sitting here without any run sheet, without any plan, without anything, because I don't do my solo episodes with any real plan. The only thing I had planned was the the token. So, I'm sure, like I said, I reminisce romantically, I ramble, I'm just talking from the heart, and I'm just talking about something majorly impactful in my life that I think is something we all deal with. The reality of substance abuse is rampant and prevalent everywhere in the world, especially in the jam scene. A lot of people get swept up in it, they get swept up by it, they lose themselves within it. And I am no stranger to that. I am no different than anybody else in that realm. I lost myself to drugs. I found myself to drugs. I lost myself to music. I found myself to music. Right now, I am incredibly excited about the fact that my relationship with music feels pure again, or at least that it's on track back to that. And I'm really grateful for that because I lost that for a while. I lost the sense of what music meant to me. I lost the sense of what music could be. I lost that it was something to pay attention to, something to appreciate just as it is. And I think that that's a lesson that I've taken from music and from sobriety is appreciating everything. A really funny example, I was walking the other day, I took Broly out in the morning and I decided I was gonna pluck some flowers for um for my girlfriend, and I had the idea of like there's that beautiful quote that like I'm paraphrasing, but it's pretty much saying like people that are sound or people that I don't know exactly what the quote is, but it's basically like people that are sound or people that aren't sound will pluck the flower, but people that are sound will just, let the flower grow and let it be and enjoy the beauty of it. And I was like, in real time in the moment, I did that, and I was like, you know what? I can just appreciate the beauty of it. I can just enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, I did forego myself, and I plucked one little flower, but it was already falling off, and I couldn't help myself because I thought it would be nice to give her a pretty flower in the morning. However, it was the reality of the thought. It was the reality of presence in the moment. And yeah, year three of sobriety has given me presence. It's given me understanding of myself. It's given me appreciation for the moment. I think it's increased my desire to become closer with my spiritual self and cultivate and develop my relationship with the universe and within myself because they're one and the same and they operate in tandem. In the words of Andrew Sachs, that was a great thing he said on his episode. Everything matters because everything's matter. Don't think that's his quote, but he's the one that I reflect to when I hear it or when I say it. Everything matters. Everything you do matters. As big, small, different, it doesn't matter what it is, but it matters that it is. And I just want to truthfully say from my heart that the people in my life that are appreciative of my sobriety, the people that support my sobriety, not to sound boastful, but the people that have been inspired by my sobriety for their own journeys or their own things, thank you. I am grateful that people appreciate that decision because I do. And like with every episode, I always ask the guests to leave a final message and they can say anything that they want. So, the final message I guess that I'll leave on this one is that substances do not define you. They truthfully are secular experiences. They are moments in time. They are decisions. They are tools. They are pathways. It is your decision how you use them. If you are in a place in your life that you do not think that they will serve you, give sobriety a try. If you don't think that's where you are, it's not going to work. And that's okay. If you want to go rip lines in the bathroom, if you want to go get high as fuck in your room, if you want to go to a show and spill a drink on yourself, don't spill it on someone else, but do your thing. Um, just try to be responsible. Try to be safe. There's a lot of sketchy shit out there in the world. There's a lot of people trying to hurt people. And if you're gonna party, party responsibly. Don't be the one that needs to be taken care of. Don't ruin somebody else's time. Have your time. Be in control and enjoy yourself. But truthfully, sobriety can be a catalyst to, oh man, I mean, sobriety can be a catalyst to some of the most beautiful things in your life. It can help you find yourself. It can help you find people. It can help you find hobbies. It can help you find passion. It can help you find a new lease on life and a new purpose. It can also help you reflect and overcome things of places you've been and a person that you've been. You can forgive people. You can forgive yourself. So don't put down people that are sober. Welcome people in. Help them feel comfortable. It is their responsibility at the end of the day. If you are a sober person, it is your responsibility to go where you can handle it, to go places that make you feel good, that fortify your sobriety, but don't withhold yourself from the beautiful things around you and the people in your life just because they can do something that you can't or that you're choosing not to. Anybody that is thinking about sober, I commend you. Anybody that is daily working on their sobriety, I commend you. Anybody that has somebody in their life that sobriety would have helped, or the a flip side of that coin that sobriety has helped, I'm with you. My thoughts are with you. And we're all in this together at the end of the day. To take a bath, sure. But truthfully, your relationships, your life, your friends, your people, your inner circle, your external communication, it's all on you to choose. And so is your sobriety if you choose. I hope that you are sound within your current self. I hope that you understand who you are. I hope that you are finding new versions of yourself every day. And I hope that you're allowing yourself to be as you are. I hope that you're not disparaging yourself or talking down on yourself. I am one of the most self-deprecating people that I know behind closed doors, and it's something that I'm working on, and that's an open admission, is that I love myself. I do, but I can love myself more. And sobriety in year 3 has made me realize that I have more work to do to love myself even more. And that even though, like the hoodie says, you are enough, I am enough, we are enough exactly as we are, that doesn't mean that you can't become more and more and more wonderful and intelligent and just hungry for life. So I wish you nothing but love, luck, safety, and all the wonderful things that this universe can offer you on this journey of your life. If you embark on the journey of sobriety, I wish you strength. I wish you luck, and don't hesitate to find community in sobriety. Don't wait until 3 years in to want to feel like a part of something. We're all trying to be a part of something. We all want to be a part of the thing. We all want to contribute to the thing because then it makes us feel good about being a part of it. This is a part of the way that I can do that. If you're having a hard time, give sobriety a try. And if you don't, I love you all the same. You are enough, sober or not. But I truthfully believe that if you want to get sober, you can, you will, and it will be a beautiful experience that will bring things to fruition in your life. So, with that, I take my leave. And as I say with every episode, I am appreciative of you guys listening and watching. And we'll catch you in the next one. So, until then, take care and be well.